Formula E returns from its month-and-a-half break and we come here to Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Sao Paulo street circuit measures at 2.933 kilometres. First three turns here form the old part of the old IndyCar layout here, tap mode at the exit of turn 3. Turn 4, really hard opportunity for braking, great for regeneration of energy as well. And the last few corners here provided last year a three-way fight for a victory. It is already a classic circuit. So after Dennis and Cassidy took victory in Saudi Arabia, we're here at Sao Paulo before moving on to Tokyo at the end of March. April sees us in a double at Misano before Monte Carlo, and then it's into the double headers. May takes us to Berlin and Shanghai, June takes us to Portland, July takes us to London to round out season 10. In the driver standings, Nick Cassidy leads the way on 57 points, Pascal Wehrlein's on 38, Jean-Eric Vergne 33, Jake Dennis is on 28, Mitch Evans 21, Gunther is on 20, Friends on 19, 18 for Buemi, Rowland and Hughes, 14 for Van Dorn, 12 for Bird, NATO's on 9, Fenestraz 8-2 for Kamara, and nobody else has scored points. In the team standings, Jaguar lead the way on 78, Penske have 47, Taiko Porsche 38, 37 for Andretti and Envision, 30 for McLaren, 26 for Nissan, Maserati on 20, ERT have 2, Mahindra and Cupra still pointless. Hello everybody and welcome to qualifying for the 2024 Sao Paulo E-Prix here at what they've now dubbed the Sambadrome. We're all set for what's going to be a very interesting qualifying. The first one since Diriyah a few weeks ago. The session's going to start in around about 7 minutes, so we'll hand over to the World Fleet Production to get ready for the session.
And you want to race every weekend if you can, and if possible, double headers too. But if you're Antonio Felix da Costa and Porsche, you've had a nightmare of a start to the season. You want a break. You know, you're a big golfer.
Yeah.
He needs to look at reanalyzing his swing, re-engineering his swing, and he needs to get his mojo back. Yeah. So he's loved the break.
I love how I'm now referred to as a golfer and not a footballer anymore, Dario. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
We've got the calendar here coming up. I mean, obviously we've got the 3 races already, Mexico, the doubleheader in Saudi Arabia. There's so much to come, a couple of brilliant doubleheaders, but it all starts today in Sao Paulo, and this is going to be a really interesting circuit for us to get our teeth into as well. Billy, I want to kind of still touch on that element of kind of having this break, because you know some of these drivers personally as well. You know, I suppose, have you, first of all, had any little nuggets, any changes to the cars, any drivers individually that are feeling maybe a little bit better coming into today than they were in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think like what Dario touched on there, obviously the guys who are at the front, they won't be changing too much on their car because it would seem to be working in the first 3 races. But, you know, maybe the team is a little bit lower down the pecking order. They would have been, you know, looking at the data, crunching some numbers, the driver and the engineer getting together and seeing if they can find a way to make a difference and to bump themselves up that leaderboard. So I'm looking particularly at like the ERTs, the ABT Cupras. I think teams like that, they would have done their homework over the break, and I think we can expect to see them sort of put themselves up the pecking order a bit.
And Simone, you're with Porsche. What's it like for the teams, from a team element? You know, Billy just touched on it there, but you know, an opportunity for a few to catch up and improve things.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you have a longer break, so you really can analyze everything, and you can also sit down with your engineer and really take the time to find what you need. Especially in the case, for example, from Antonio. You know, he really struggled in the beginning of the season, so he has time to go in the sim. You know, spend a lot of time in the sim, find a few things that maybe can help him, and it seems like they have found a few things because he was pretty quick today.
All right, Dario, Billy, you're going to get yourselves in commentary, aren't you? But we're going to head to Radzi, who I think is with Phil Charles.
Indeed, I am with Phil Charles, and it's been the biggest news, actually, in Formula E in recent times. It's been comparable, possibly, to Adrian Newey going from McLaren to Red Bull in the noughties. Dare I say, as big as Adrian Newey going from Williams to McLaren in the 90s. Phil Charles, the strategic supremo of Formula E, moving from Jaguar TCS Racing to the team behind us here, DS Penske. First of all, Phil, thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming to speak to me.
What's inspired the move? Where's it come from?
First of all, you've just made my head go massive. Some amazing kind of connections there with some really great people, really great engineers. So why did I move? That's a great team over there, and they're performing fantastically well here. And I was really proud of what we did there. We achieved a huge amount. But Jay Penske rang me up here, and I was just completely enthralled by what he said to me. He really wants to win. He comes and does this for his passion. He wants to improve, get better, and that really pulled me in, and that's why I'm here. So, yeah.
It's very exciting times. You mentioned the word success. How long does that take, and what would it look like for yourself?
Well, that's a really difficult question to answer, and what I can tell you is there's no silver bullet that you can turn up with and suddenly you win races. It's about finding out where your little holes, your little weaknesses are, plumbing those, filling those in, and getting better week on week. It's about learning. Every time you hit the track, you have to learn something. If you keep putting those little lessons together, you get better and better and better. So what you have to do is put that process in place, and then you're racing the others. They're all trying to do the same thing. So what I can tell you is this is a really great team, loads of really good people, and already I'm injecting some new ideas, some new things to try, and that's going to make us better. How quickly we can start to really beat the others, it's going to take a while. But success for me is definitely that, beat the others. My tail's up, new shirt, but I'm ready to go and I'm enjoying it, and this is a great group of people.
Watch this space, Phil. Thank you very much for your time, and all the very best of luck in quali. And now the quali format, as many of you will know, is a fascinating one. It's one of the reasons that we love Formula E. So we have two groups, Group A and Group B, of 11 drivers. Look at that in Group A straight away. Cassidy, John O'Byrne, Mitch Evans. I mean, choose those ones between you if you like. And in Group B, Verline, Dennis, Gunter. This is going to be an absolute belter. And then the way it works, it then comes down to the fastest 4 drivers from each of those groups, then go in a head-to-head knockout one-lap format. We have the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and then the final. This isn't about the overall fastest lap. This is about, can you beat the other guy when it counts? It's going to be fascinating, and the person who does it gets themselves 3 points. JJ, this one is going to be a corker.
It is indeed, Radzi. We can't wait. Simone, you kept across FP1 using the commentary booth for FP2, and there's a few things to kind of get our teeth into. Mitch Evans, first and foremost, seems to have a few complications with his car.
Yeah, he went out in free practice 2 and had a drive shaft problem at the front, so that created, you know, he pretty much lost the whole session. The team did a really great job in putting the car back together to get out there, but definitely, you know, not so easy to start like this, but luckily it did happen in practice.
Can that be an issue, by the way, with like not getting the laps in on a day like today?
Well, for somebody like Mitch, not really, you know, because he's really quick anyway, so I don't think it will affect him too much. But yeah, you know, it's interesting that this part kind of failed. You know, it's a part from the series, like everyone uses the same one, and it just from Formula E, you know, you have this braking power over that drive shaft, so it's a really big problem, and it really doesn't work. Yeah.
And a quick one on Max Gunter, big grid penalty.
Yeah, he had an inverter problem, so yeah, it really kind of created a big problem, and he has a 20 grid penalty for that. So very frustrating for him, because it seems like they have a really good pace going on, but you know, that's racing, and sometimes things like this happened.
They do indeed. Well, it proves to be an amazing session of qualification. So let's head you over to our commentary team of Dario Franchitti, Billy Munger and Tom Brooks.
All set to go then in round 4 here of the ABB FIA Formula E Championship, and we are underway. 12 minutes will be ahead of us for the first group of qualifying. Cassidy, Verne, Evans, Freins, Rowland, Van Dorn, Nato, Sette Kamara, Muller, De Vries and De Grassi will venture out onto the circuit. In terms of the championship points, Cassidy leads the way. He's on 57. Verne's on 33. It's first, third, fifth, and so on. Group A is the odd numbers in the championship. Group B will be the even numbers of 2, 4, 6, all the way down to 22, where Dan Ticktum currently resides. Alongside me in the commentary box for this session is Adam Lemridge. And Adam, this morning in practice 2, we lost a couple of minutes on the full power lap times. Now, as the green light goes on for Q1, Group A, we're going to be in for a bit of an interesting one, because it just keeps on changing and no one got a full lap in this morning. So it's a bit of an unknown as we go racing on the track.
Yes, Josh, it sure is. Hello, everybody. This Group A is stacked from top to bottom. You've got both the Jaguars in this group. I think we will see both Jaguars advance, to knockout qualifying. Yeah, we know that Mitch Evans was last at P2 earlier today, but
Red flag.
already.
The timer has froze, and we've got a red flag. So we are only 45 seconds into this session, and we've got a tarpaulin that has blown onto the circuit on the back straight towards turn 7. It looks like a parachute or something, whether that has blown away a tarpaulin cover.
And 6 and 7 red flag.
It's the race director telling us.
The voice of Oliver Gradowski, who is the race director for this weekend.
Yeah.
It's like a bag or something that you would use to catch the leaves, or I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
Where's that blown in from then? So red flag. I just looked down at the timing screen. It showed red flag.
Yeah, weird. I mean, Josh, who do you think will advance, out of this group to knockout qualifying?
I think Cassidy and Evans definitely will. I think we're going to see a fight for Verne to get in, and after that, I think it's between Van Dorn, Nato, and possibly De Grassi looking at it. But Sergio Sitakamara surprised us in doing it. So there's a couple, but I think Cassidy, everyone with the Jaguars are certainly there. And there it is. It looks like a parachute windsock thing that's just blown onto the circuit.
Yeah, I think it is like a parachute. Yeah, it's, well, expect the unexpected here in Sao Paulo.
I'm starting to think, is that deliberate, the way it's been left on the track, and no one's gone out there. Let's go over to the world feed.
That is bizarre. Never seen that before. There we are.
Okay.
Oh, the marshal's straight on it.
Heat.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that.
Yeah,
It's, what's it, 35 degrees out there
It
now?
feels like 135 C. It is so warm, and from a technical point of view, cars are going to lose grip.
Yeah, what was
It's
it?
going to be even harder in the race for the cars when they're regenerating energy back in the battery to not overheat the battery. It's just going to add to the complexity of the race we're going to see this afternoon. But first of all, qualifying, you've got to get up front.
Session will resume on a short call, and it will restart in 45 seconds' time.
To be an incredibly energy important race here, Billy. We've seen very flat out races in the first 3, but this one we're expecting to be a peloton side. What we mean by that essentially is drivers aren't going to want to lead until sort of towards the end of it.
Yeah, being at the front of the pack is going to be the least energy efficient place to be, which is why pole position here is maybe not as critical as at other racetracks. So it's definitely going to be a really strategic race. But I think what's important to note is because of the knowledge everyone's gained from last year's race here, everyone knows that that's how it's going to be. So it makes it even trickier to try and make a difference.
Yeah, you've got to do something different, haven't you? You've got to do, because you know that everybody knows the winning strategy from last year, so you've got to go a bit earlier. You've got to sprint for the finish line, as it were. Save that energy and then use it towards the end. Something to consider. For the energy the cars are going to use in the race today, 40% of it, of the total energy, will be regenerated. That gives you some idea of how efficient the car is. But if it's me, I want to start on pole position. I want a clear run in that first corner, because I want the clean line of the track, get the best traction off the start box, braking into the first corner, and then after that I'm going to very quickly fade back into the top sort of 5. That would be my strategy, but that's not necessarily to say it's the right one. I think I'm just being a bit nervous of that first corner.
Session underway again, and a venture out onto the circuit, and whatever that parachute was can now be taken away, and we can get started again. Desperately keeping my eyes on the screen. Well, Cassidy's already approached turn 7, so that's already a good sign. We lost a minute then, effectively, under that red flag procedure. So now they're going to have to go out. That'll cut down a push and cool lap. You saw, if you're watching along with us, the virtual screen saying about the ideal situation would be an out lap, a push lap, a cool lap, a push lap, and then a double cool if you've got time again. Box for new tyres. But with that red flag, it's going to just take it down a little bit. And the track here is very different. There's all the cameras open at once in the super screen on if you're watching on. Cassidy will be the first one to take the checkered flag as well and start a lap time across it, and he gets a good exit as he hurtled down towards turn number 1 and 2, the right-left chicane, hairpin at turn 3, and the control line is way up down to 1, so he's got it already.
Job without having to add potential risk.
Cool push, and then out push.
So Cassidy being told what...
Similar to
Yeah, Cassidy being told what Robin Fry's behind him.
We can do that if you want.
Yeah, so he can do it as well if he wants to. 23.5 in the first sector. He's fastest of anybody so far as he comes into the braking zone for turns 4, 5 and 6. The trickiest overtaking opportunity on the track. We're going to expect to see a lot of accidents down into 4 and 7 on the circuit. Maybe turn 10, but it narrows into that last couple of corners. But you heard Tom Brooks say about it a second ago, a peloton style, and we talked about it in practice too, Adam. It almost makes this qualifying session a bit irrelevant because those who start on the first 3 rows won't want to lead. It's a bit like Portland last year.
Oh, we all remember what happened in Portland last year, Josh, don't we? A lot of fans don't like the peloton style, and I think we're going to see that during the race today. It's going to be, I think the first half of the race is going to be, well, dull, and then the second half is going to be hold on to your seats.
So Cassidy's done a 1:14.047, 53,000 faster is Evans who goes top. So now it's Evans from Cassidy. De Vries goes third. Into 4th position goes Nato. Seta Kamara 5th. Now we get Muller going 4th. Degrassi goes in 6th position as well as they come through. Cassidy already fastest of all in the first sector, 23.393. That's about a second faster than what we saw him on the previous run around. So already he's building up his momentum as he brakes hard down into turn 7 and 8. The double right underneath behind the stadium sector, the start line. Downhill we go, rejoining the IndyCar circuit. Now at this part of the track. Down into the braking zone, turn 10, 11, 12. So Cassidy should be able to improve through the last 2 corners. He shouldn't have too much of a problem. He had a fantastic first sector, a bit of a poor second sector, and still goes faster by a 10th and a half. So it's Cassidy at 1:13.878. That's the time to beat. Evan, no one else is improving in red sectors. Sete Kamara's 4 tenths down as he touches the wall coming out of turn 7 and 8. So just brushing it. He's really taken that ERT to the limit. Into the last 2 corners then. Some teams already coming into the pit lane. Muller and Degrassi right behind. Seta Kamara crosses the line. 7th fastest at the moment. Jumps up. No. Stays where he is. Degrassi's pitted. Now we're going to see Roland come across the line in the Nissan. Does he go any faster? Up to 6th only. Vern's fastest in sector 2. But down in sector 1, 33 thousandths. This should put him comfortably into the top 4, which is the group progression. A little bit of understeer coming into turn 10. Nice through the exit of 11 as well. Into the last one. Pushes hard towards the exit line. And it's up to 3rd position because Van Dorn's gone up into 2nd position. Friens is up in the first sector. Can barely control the car coming through turn 7. And that Envision with the Jaguar powertrain at him, it's still been very fast all weekend long, but that it's not looking like it's got the brake right. He's sliding it everywhere.
Yeah, Josh. Robin Friens has been strong all weekend, and it looks like he could be on the outside looking in, going into knockout style qualifying.
You're bang on because he's P5 on the deck. He is 4, 5, 6, 8. He's for 4 tenths back, so 4 100ths of a second off the pace of Evans in that sector time. Here we see NATO. He's on a lap time now. Some of the field coming into the pit lane. I'm surprised NATO. Yeah, he's going to back off of that first sector. So that's the end of the first part of this group of qualifying. Top 4 sees Cassidy, Van Dorn, Vern and Evans. So the 2 Jaguars as I expected. But to see the DS Penske's in there, both of them, that's a surprise. Not being challenged. Friens on the outside, as you said, Adam. Then we get to Vries, Muller, NATO, Roland, Degrassi, Seta Kamara. So who in the drop zone do you think might kick out a Jaguar, maybe even the DS Penske?
That's a good question, Josh. I think Norman NATO will find a way to get in to the top 4. probably. I think he'll get into fourth, and Robin Fines is going to be a driver that also could find his way into the top four as well.
Fines in 5th, NATO in 8th. There's Evans radio.
The car in both. Let's see what Evans is saying.
Franz did push, call push, so he'll have to be out push at the end. Okay, if we want to do out build push, we wait for a bit. If we want out push, call push, well, we wait anyway. We wait anyway.
Engineer doesn't really know what he's talking about there. So qualifying Group B will start at 1 minute past the hour. So in 10 minutes time, Group B will start. That's just flashed up on the control monitor here. So just a little delay of that by about 2-3 minutes to give the gaps between the segments. Not too bad. First red flag of the qualifying year, I believe, in Formula E that was as well. We've gone uninterrupted so far from memory, although it has been a long time since Duria, end of January. As they all fly in. Yep, Ed's back with us as well for the race later on today. We're on at 4:30 GMT. And it'll be the full race that we're covering. Tomorrow it's NASCAR. And next week we're in Australia, Formula 3, Formula 2 and Formula 1. And so many other different series on at one time as Degrassi starts a running as well. I think MotoGP is also racing with the Portuguese Grand Prix. And then we've got IndyCar at Thermal Club. And we'll be covering that, but not much. IndyCar Radio taking the majority. We'll be covering the race itself. And then we've got Circuit of the Americas, where Matt White's joining the commentary team from USON. And we'll be on USON for that race as well. So it's,
yes, we are.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. So you come down to the back straight.
Yeah, it's called Slow Weekend this weekend for us here at JBMotorsports, and then next weekend we crisscross the globe.
Yeah, this year this weekend we're on one side of the globe. The next week we're just, as you say, all over. So I can't wait. Oh, I've lost TV pictures up in the commentary box again. Wonder why that's happened. They've gone dead. Oh, they're trying to come back to me at the moment. But we've got Muller, who's on the laptop. Here's Degrassi, right? So they're back. Let's just refresh them for Adam so he can see the same ones I do. So they've all just lifted and coasting as we see a few fans. They're slowly starting to build up. But everyone coming mainly for the race later. It's only 9:53 over there in Sao Paulo as well. So it's still early morning when we're getting qualifying done. Which I don't understand. If you've bought a ticket for a race day, and they're quite expensive as well, you come for the whole day. You don't just come for the race later on. It's a bit bizarre.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I love it.
Some people you can tell here are diehard motorsport fans who are just fans as well. It's a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's just lifting and coasting now. We've got 1 minute 19 to go. They're all out on the track. No one's finds to come out, so they will get a lap time in, which is good. But it's going to be a run to the line like you've never seen, and they're all boxing each other. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars together down at 4, 5, 6. You're seeing it now on the inside as we see, I believe that's one of the hinges. That's De Vries getting ahead of Roland. And now Roland going back and saying, well, what are you doing here, buddy? Get out of the way. Push back. And NATO going back through as well. So this is ridiculous. This is De Vries now on a replay in the Mahindra. And he's on the radio as well. He's not happy about something.
With a bit of traffic, team radio as well.
I mean, I caught NATO at the apex of turn 4.
Right. So De Vries was on a push. That explains it now. Is everyone going to make it across the line? Muller at the top of the moment. Hello, SHT. Muller's on. It's going to be a bit tight here, you know, with that flag coming out. We're going to get the Bonanza laps now. Checkered flags out, and I think NATO missed it. NATO's missed it. NATO's taken the checkered flag, so he was too slow on that outlap, and Norman NATO has cost himself a time. De Vries managed to start a lap. Cassidy goes up to second. He stays in position. As several others now going to start with their Delta times. Friends coming across the line from 6th place. Does he get himself in a spot in the top 4? Yes, he does. Out goes Evans, out goes Vern. Unbelievable stuff at the moment. Friends does break through. Evans, though, is fastest in that middle sector. Degrassi has personal best sectors 1 and 2 as they come up and attack. Evans' sector 2 is a 28.469, but Degrassi going faster as well as they come out the last corner. Who's going to be in the top 4 as we cross the line? Evans goes fastest. Degrassi goes 4th. Out goes Van Dorn. Friends is 100% out, so is NATO. Vern looking strong in 7th position. Now Roland sliding the rear, coming out in the last corner. Lost a lot of time. He's 10th at the moment, but as he comes across the line, Roland goes 4th, so out goes Degrassi. Can Van Dorn push him out from 6th place? Van Dorn fastest by 9 thousandths. Out goes Roland. Sete Kamara goes 9th. We already know about Vern. Vern kicks out Cassidy. The championship leader is out of qualifying. Unbelievable. NATO pits. Roland 6th, De Vries 7th, and Cassidy, the big surprise, gets kicked out. It's a DS Penty 1-2 when we expected Jaguar to be strong. What happened there?
Well, God, think about it. The name Penske has been strong all across motorsports this year, and now continues here in Formula E at Sao Paulo.
James Barkley doesn't know what has happened. We don't know what's happened as they go to ad break. That is unbelievable. So it's Vern, Van Dorn, Evans and Muller. They will be in the quarterfinals. But the championship leader, Nick Cassidy, who leads the title 57 points to Verline's 38, he will start at best on the 5th row of the grid in either 9th or 10th position, depending on what happens in Group B's running order of times. That's a big decision, that one. So that's a big race for him in the Jaguar. Evans, who lost down on practice 2 this morning, he goes through in 3rd position. Vern, Van Dorn, Evans, Muller. That's your order. Out Cassidy, Roland, De Vries, Degrassi, Friends, set to come out, and NATO. I think the 2 big ones there are definitely Cassidy and Friends. They've got the Jaguar train. What happened to Friends as well, jumping into 9th? He was right up there, ready to go.
Yeah, he was, like I said, he was on the outside looking in, and I truly thought he was going to find his way in that Envision Jaguar, and that's a shocking. And Josh, we have talked about, this is going to be Peloton's style race when no one wants lead. Well, maybe that'll work in favor of some of these drivers that didn't make it into the quarterfinal round. Like Nick Cassidy, like Robin Friends, like Norman Nato. Maybe it'll be an advantage for them when it's race time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Peloton style racing is what we were expecting, so maybe starting at that back of the grid is going to be a bit beneficial towards them. So it might not be too bad thinking about it if it is a Peloton style race where they've got to save energy. As we said earlier in practice too, if you were joining us, it's down from 40 kilowatts of usable energy this year to 38.1 for the same distance of the race here. Compared to last year in Sao Paulo, so they've got to save energy a bit more. The drivers are worried about multiple stoppages and red flags. Got about a minute and a half, so let's cross over to the world feed and see what they make of it all.
So just inside the garage here with Stoffel Van Dorn. Just talking there to Oliver Turvey on the left-hand side of your picture. Jay Penske there with the shades just onto the right-hand side of your picture. Nick Cassidy and Robin Friends having a chat here in the pit lane.
Heard a few numbers getting exchanged there. I think Robin Friends was saying he was on for a 1:13.5 and might have made a mistake, which would have been comfortable, put him top of the timesheets by a couple of attempts. So it seemed like that Envision car had a bit more pace than what they were able to display out there.
Interesting, they talk about stuff like that. I wouldn't have those conversations. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to give any information to the opposition, certainly with my teammates, yes. Let's see what Vern says.
You had the field, basically 10th on the field.
So Vern there just talking to Jay Penske. Here is Group B then, the second of them out for qualifying. Verline, Dennis, Gunther, Buemi, Hughes, Bird, Fenestras, Mortara, Da Costa, De Ruvela and Dan Ticktum. 11 drivers, 4 places available. Let's see how this is going to work out. 2 Neon McLarens in there. You've got Jake Dennis, reigning champion. Pascal Verline's at good pace so far this year as well. And then there's a few wild cards in there. What about Sasha Fenestras? We know how quick he can be. We know how disappointed this man will be as well. Lucas de Grassi, unfortunate to not make it through into the duels in his home race. But the green light is on at the end of pit lane, and we get Group B qualifying underway. Do you think it'll be an advantage for the drivers that are heading out now, Billy, that have just seen what the track is like for Group A?
I mean, if they've been looking at the lap times, they'd probably say it's in a similar state to what it was in FP2. So apart from that, everyone's got the same, in Group B, we have the same conditions to deal with. So it doesn't really change the job that the driver's got to do in terms of they just need to be in that top 4.
And don't forget about the Formula E predictor as well. Scan the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Tell us who you think is going to reign supreme come the time for the duels.
And if you know, please tell me.
Tell any of us, it'd be useful information to have.
I think the thing is that there's no sort of formula going into this one. No one can really tell what is going to happen.
No, I was sitting looking at the guys in Group B, and you just don't know. You see Sam Bird there, you think, maybe. But then even you look at Dan Ticktum, you think, he could pull a lap out in the ERT. We talked about the 1 lap pace.
Yeah, and then
Mortara.
expected lap time needed to reach the duels is a 1:13.6, says the virtual race engineer. We'll see how true that becomes, and certainly we're going to be in for an interesting one as the session gets underway properly. So let's see what we've got. No red flag in this session, so they've had a proper outlap. Now they can start pushing. Everybody's watching on as we start the attack laps down towards turn number 1. We follow down with Pascal Verline. Hard on the brakes, flicks the car towards the right as well, past the crane camera. And the Porsche was strong this morning as well, actually. It was surprised everybody with how strong they were. After a miserable start, Verline is second in the championship, of course. He won in Mexico, but only got 4 and 6 points in the 2 races, so 10 points only coming from the double in Diriyah. That put him down 38 points, allowed Cassidy, who had a 3rd place in Mexico, a 3rd place in Diriyah, and a victory in race 2 at Diriyah, to really rump up the timing sheets with 57. It already began like it's running away. Jaguar lead the Constructors' Championship as well to Penske. That's why the first part of qualifying was so strong. But Adam O'Reilly, Verline is fast, and so is Da Costa, both trading first sector times on their banker laps.
Yeah, I expect Pascal Verline and Antonio Da Costa to get in to the quarterfinals. I'll say, I think another driver to keep an eye out for is Sam Bird in the McLaren, and they mentioned on the telecast Dr. Fenestras. I think he will be a driver that we have to keep an eye on for the back half of qualifying.
Bird topped this morning's practice 2 session. His banker that time puts him in 6th. And a reminder, if you didn't join us at the top of the show, about Max Gunther. He's currently in 2nd position. He has a 20-place grid penalty for a changed gearbox, and then a further 20-place grid penalty for an inverter change after practice 2. So that's 2 20 places, that's 40 places, and any places he can't take on the grid, ideally the other 18, he will have to serve as a time penalty. So he'll have to come into the pits. That's effectively Gunther's race done, unless we have a red flag or a safety car. As for some reason, we go picture-in-picture on the world feed screen here, which is really confusing me on one side of things, as we look Mitch Evans, and they decide to go picture-in-picture on the world feed as well. Yeah, even they're having a go at that.
Yeah. I tell you what, just looking right, I know it's early.
Even they were having a go. Oh, Gunther's abandoned his that time. Who's going through? Bird's abandoned it too, despite setting the fastest first sector. Verline continues on, but Buemi only goes 5th, so this is already a very strange session. Mortara's boxed as well. Quarterfinals will start at 10:29 local time, so that's in around about 23 minutes from now. That session will start. So there's a usual break. DS Penske have really improved their car from last season. Now Stoffel Van Dorn seems to click in the car more than in season 9, says SHT in the YouTube chat. Yeah, it does actually. Really, and it's come strong over the break as well. The sort of mid-season lull where we had a month and a half off. Verline sliding the rear of that Porsche as he heads down the straight towards turn 7 and 8. He's got Sebastian Buemi just behind him. His teammate Da Costa as well, who's currently top, is behind him further. And Verline is just trying to keep it out of the wall. Buemi too was a bit cautious coming out of turn 8. They are not putting the full power down. I don't know, it's almost like the tyres can't get temperature. It's weird how they're sort of, it's hot out there. Track temperature 47 degrees, air temperature 31. But it almost looks like they can't grip the tyres up as Verline goes top.
Yeah, Josh, that's quite shocking. I thought the tires would have heated up a little bit more since we have parts number 2 a little earlier, and I will say it's nice to hear Tom Brooks back in the comment box after yesterday, and I'm glad he's feeling well.
Hopefully he'll be better as well as Sebastian Buemi watches on. He's P7 at the moment, so waiting to see what's going to happen. Let's head down to the world feed. Half the cars in the pits just running up for the end of the run.
Not only the 20-place grid penalty he got for changing the gearbox, did Max Günther, he also got another 20-place grid penalty. The team changed the inverter after free practice too, so 40 places was the grid penalty. But if he can't drop 40 places because there's not that many drivers on the grid, so he's going to have to serve that in a time penalty in the race as well.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, mega improvement.
So Dennis, need to build. Needs to do one more lap to get the tyres into the operating window than he did there. Interesting on Günther.
Performance gains.
Yeah, because all the hardware's locked in. Can change software stuff, but as far as the actual mechanical parts of it, I don't know how much you're allowed. I don't think you're allowed to change really anything. So
do you think it would have been damage potentially to the gearbox that would have been costing him time, and just changing that as just reset him back to the right level?
Yeah, exactly. They might be seeing maybe too much temperature in the gearbox, too much friction, and losing power because of it. Interesting to see the performance gain. There's our current world champion, Mr. Jake Dennis.
Yeah, just getting himself ready back in the pit lane. So he said he needs to have a build lap in order to be able to push for the flyer. So he's back in the pit lane. A few drivers in. It looks like there's a bit of a divergence in strategy compared to what we saw in Group A. Drivers generally sort of came in and all went out at the same sort of time. But here we've got still quite a few drivers actively out on the track.
Yeah, no, it's definitely seeming like people are doing different run plans. Maybe that's just to get, some clean air, avoid that traffic situation.
Yeah, absolutely right. So making their way through turn 1 and turn 2.
What you don't want at this point is to be on a push lap and everybody else is coming out warming up the tyres and getting in your way, as we saw in Group 1.
Yeah, that's the important point, isn't it? Of course, it will get a little bit easier in a few minutes' time when we head in towards the duels, because there's only 2 drivers out on track. But as we saw, traffic can certainly be an issue. Nick de Vries suffered from that in Group A qualifying.
That's what we're all now waiting to see and hear from as they try again with the attack, just keeping it nice and calm. How's this here from out at Muller?
Good job in qualifying. Clipped the inside wall box.
Muller hit the wall.
So that's obviously a bit of delayed team radio from Group A saying he hit the wall.
But he also got through into the duel, so I'd love to see the back of the car, the side of the car, to see if there's any little marks there.
Muller hit the wall, but he's still going into the next session. He finished that one in P4. Gunther's P5 at the moment, so if he does, ideally, Günther would want to get pole position so he gets the points, then serve the maximum penalty. But from a racing standpoint, I don't think he should have been allowed to take part in qualifying because he's more of an irrelevance out there than anything. So there should be more rules on that front. We see it in we see it in F1, don't we? Drivers have ridiculous penalties and they still get to qualify.
I mean, Max Gunther's going to start at the back anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, so does he need to participate in qualifying? I mean, might as well, you know. I will say, Josh, the last time we did Formula E was Jerry, and you folks who don't remember, race 2 was quite chaotic, and after that, Josh just pulled Rolex 24 Hours Daytona. So this weekend, Josh, you don't have to worry about covering a sports car race, even though it is the 12 hours of Sebring this weekend from Sebring International Raceway in Florida. But
that's true.
Yeah. Yes, so at least.
Oh no, Gunther's gone top. Gunther's gone straight to the top. 113.516. And then we've got Verline, Mortara, DaCosta. Now, Dennis is going to be absolutely fuming here because he's been kicked out of the duels when Gunther is going to be top of the session. Now, he's 2 tenths ahead, so that's an awful lot for everybody to catch up. They've got one more run plan to do it, but Max Gunther has possibly just completely screwed up qualifying even more. Wow, because he's going to go through to the duels here at this rate. And then, oh wow. Not good.
Enough.
I mean, I can see why he's doing it, because the higher you get up the grid, the less penalties you have to serve. So if he starts on pole, he only has to serve 18 seconds of penalty. But it's not great here. Here's Bird's radio.
Team radio for Bird.
Cool down. Target cool lap 1 minute 40. Sam, any blocking on that lap question?
No answer. Negative.
I'd had to go long because I wasn't sure on the people behind me. They didn't tell me what they were doing.
Right, so no blocking, but he's had to go long, so it's compromised his regeneration abilities. He might not have enough power in the end of this session. Verline's a 10th down on Gunther's time, so I reckon Gunther's turned it up to maximum as Verline gets it all wrong. Coming into turn 4, just about hits the apex nicely. And checker flags out, but he's going to have to really find something as he comes down the back straightaway now. Fenestraz is across the line. Did he make it? No, he didn't. Sasha Fenestraz didn't make it. 113.967. That's his best time. He'll start 7th on the deck as we come through again. Verline just brushing against the barrier. Can he find anything better than a 113.516 from Gunther, or is Max Gunther going to completely destroy the party? Fastest for Deruvala, sector 2, watch out for him. Verline takes the checkered flag. Is it high or is it low? It's low. 2 tenths off. 113.713. Boemi from 10th. Doesn't improve. What about across the line? Nothing from DaCosta. Nothing from Fenestraz to the line. Deruvala goes 9th. Lost down that second time. I think that's it. TikTok's not going to improve in the ERT. Bird and Hughes still out there. Bird's got fastest second sector. Mortara. Dennis comes across the line. Does Dennis go through? No. Hughes doesn't either. What about Sam Bird? He's across the line, gets it very wrong on the last corner. DaCosta goes 5th. Dennis down to 6th. Bird goes in. Bird gets out DaCosta. Bird does go through. And now DaCosta and Dennis are going to be absolutely furious that Max Gunther's through, because it's completely changed the results going into the race later, because now Gunther's into the duels. He's screwed up the qualifying. Wow. But that's as I just heard Tom Brooks say, that's Maserati, Porsche, Mahindra and McLaren, 4 different power unit providers and batteries who are through. Well, that was a dramatic session, Adam. Didn't expect that one.
Yeah, and Josh, you know what they say, variety is the spice of life.
What a change we've had. That was an interesting session. Oh, and I thought there was damage. There's Sam Bird. I believe it's Bird anyway. It's not Hughes. No, it is Hughes. Oh, Hughes got damage to his front wing. That 5 and 8 looks too similar. They need to change that. Couldn't quite tell who it was. End of the session then. Here's your results. Gunther, Verline, Mortara and Bird. Like it or not, Gunther's through despite his 40-place grid penalty. So he will start inside the top 8 for qualifying, but he'll go straight to the back anyway, regardless where he is. Gunther will start 22nd on the grid. But how many penalty points is he going to have to serve by going backwards? So we're getting ready for about a 40-minute break before we go for the next session, which will be the duels. So we will prepare for that and get ready. Adam, who do you think is going to be first off on the deck? Because we don't know who is facing who yet in the duels, but it's quite an exciting session coming up, isn't it? It's going to be quite interesting, and Gunther's going to try and go the distance here.
Why did Max Gunther participate in Group B qualifying is beyond me. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, but I will say, with Nick Cassidy starting toward the back half of the top 10 and Pascal Verline making it into the duels, that helps him because he is second in the championship, and he could gain on Nick Cassidy here, Josh. You know that?
Yeah. I really hope he does. That's going to be quite an interesting one in the championship. It's, of course, 3 points for pole position, so Verline could be up there. It's Evans versus Van Dorn in the quarterfinal number 1. That's flown up on my screen. That'll be getting underway in around about 11.5 minutes' time. So we will be passing over to the world feed shortly and getting some analysis. I think Simone Di Silvestro and JJ are down there, and we'll hear, of course, with Radzi and Saunders in the pit lane. Alexa Rendell is walking around doing all the social media stuff as well, so we'll be hearing from her throughout the weekend, and hopefully as well we'll be getting the after party show later on, which I implore you all to watch. It's a great little forum where we hear from all the drivers. A proper fan social media show on the Formula E YouTube channel. I think it's about an hour after the race, so just after the podium we'll all get started and get going as they come through. But in the first part of the session, we now know who is where and how, and we'll swap over from this screen to the dual screen, which gives us more information. Oh, it was set up for 3, so Adam's actually appearing twice on the monitor somehow. Actually, that looks better. It sounds weird, but it actually shows the full screen, so I'll leave it like that for now.
Yep.
As we get into it. And fingers crossed as well, this will be a smoother operation of things as well for Group B. Well, quarterfinals A. Now, of course, in the group stages, they were limited to 300 kilowatts per hour. Now they are up to maximum 350. So we'll get faster and faster. 10 minutes to go then, until it all kicks off. Let's hand over to the world feed once more and pass it over to JJ.
Right, so that's it from Groups A and Groups B. Simona, we've had a really good look at that. I mean, we can have actually a look at how the standings are after the 2 groups went out. But kind of getting into it from yourself, was there any surprises in that Group A? I mean, the obvious one, Nick Cassidy missing out.
Yeah, definitely Nick missing out, and I think the biggest surprise was Nico Müller with the apt really going into the duels, even though he touched the wall, and I'm not sure he's going to go out again. But yeah, for Cassidy, I think it's the 7th time in a row that he didn't he did make it, and this time he didn't make it. So a little bit of a shocker. But if you look at the lap times, it's so close that it's really, we're talking about nothing.
It always is. I mean, Lucas Di Grassi, bless him, on home turf, he was so close. Billy, you've joined us as well, and I heard you in commentary talking about kind of how close these moments were, in particular in the Group B session. But it's so tight all the time.
It is so tight. I mean, this track lends itself to that. It's a lot of long straights, big braking zones. There's not really too many corners where the driver can do anything different line-wise to the others. So you kind of, you know, on the same line, it's just the tiniest little details of just, you know, getting a couple of millimetres closer to a wall. That stuff is going to be the stuff that makes the difference. And I think this is a track where the drivers can rise to the occasion because of that.
Yeah, but Phil Charles leaves Jaguar, goes to DS Penske. They go 1 and 2. Any surprises there?
It's impressive, you know. I think, it's the man to have a new team, I guess, because that's really, really good. You know, for them to really be 1 and 2 in Group A, that's amazing.
Yeah, very good. We just saw the results from Group B as well. Max Gunter, I mean, he's going to have that grid penalty, but it was impressive what he did there.
I think for me, out of both those qualifying sessions, obviously he topped the second one, but he was the most impressive. I mean, the gap that he managed to get over the rest of that Group B was a couple of attempts, and that's a big gap around a track like this. So I think for him, he's definitely found a sweet spot with that car. We obviously heard that the gearbox changes, there were some performance gains that they were going to feel like they were going to be had because of that. Yeah. And it seems like it's translating across pretty well to his performance.
Yeah, and Sam Bird snuck in there right at the end, didn't he? I mean, what was it? It was another tight one, wasn't it, right at the end when he just snuck in, and it was a really good performance from him, though.
Yeah, I think this morning gave him a little bit of confidence that can make it happen, and for sure, you know, being fourth, I think it's really good for him. You know, I think he's a really aggressive driver and also wants to prove that he can, you know, really be up front, and I think with McLaren, he's found a really good home now, and he can really achieve that, so I think for him, it's pretty happy days so far.
Yeah. As you can probably hear, this helicopter's decided to let's have a little float around above our position, but I think Saunders is with Antonio Felix da Costa, who just lost out, but put in a good performance.
So Antonio Felix da Costa, talk to us about that. You know, those qualifying groups look pretty spicy and very hot.
Yeah, I have to say, look, where we're coming from, I'm not disappointed with that. I think we need to start building momentum somewhere, and this was not a bad session. It hasn't been a bad weekend, to be honest. We've had to rebuild ourselves a little bit, and I think we're on a good path. The car felt good. In the end, we missed out on 5,000s, and yeah, the pace is in the car, and this is a track where we can race. So all good. It's going to be a fun one this afternoon.
You said it there. This is definitely a track where you can race. I wanted to kind of dive into where you are, though, feeling, because it's been a very tricky start to the season, but now you're in a real potential opportunity.
I'm laser focused, my friend.
Good to hear it.
Fast. It's going to be good.
Thank you, Antonio. It's going to be good. Heard it here first.
Antonio's got a big smile on his face, always good to see. We did touch on Nick Cassidy went out in Group A. You thought Billy just didn't look entirely comfortable during the session, did you?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing his reaction after the session, him going straight over to his engineer, it seemed like he was, you know, not happy with the balance of his car. Potentially it could be, you know, an issue under the braking, because we know big braking zones here, that can play a key role. And his engineer was kind of trying to reassure him, you're only a 10th off, you know, you've just missed out. But he obviously felt like the car was not in a good spot, and he had a lot more time to prove and time to find if it had been where it should have been.
I suppose that's the case, though. When you're leading from the front, your demands are a lot higher. You want to stay there, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's a good sign that he's demanding that sort of excellence from everyone around him. He's obviously not happy with what he's got underneath of him, but if he could get that in the sweet spot, he knows the team's got more to give. They've got more performance than that, so I think it shows where his mind's at.
Simona, just give us a bit of insight into, because we hear a lot about kind of the sweet spot, and in particular the tyres, and getting them in that sweet spot. And when we sat there, you said, right, they're going to be putting on some cold tyres now and going back out. Like, how difficult is that for a driver to get into that sweet spot on a day like today when it's absolutely boiling?
Well, it's very tricky because you really get only that one lap, you know. Sometimes you can go out and do 2 kind of hot laps, but here you really had that one lap. And you know, a Formula E car is really difficult to drive, and I think what Nick had, you know, I think how your brake setting is a little bit, you know, if you have a little bit of more lock-up at the rear, at the front, you really got to find that sweet spot as well, and that makes it really hard. And, you know, it's just a 10th, but as a driver, you know, if you don't get this feeling that you need, it feels like miles off. Yeah. So for him, you know, he knows the team can do it. He knows what his car is capable of. So maybe today it wasn't right there where he needed it to be.
No, it wasn't. Well, let's have a look at the Jules ladder, shall we, as we go into the quarterfinals. There's lots to kind of still get into. We mentioned kind of the DS team look very strong out there, but it looks like Jean-Eric Verne will be getting a bye, I think, into the next round, because because of the issue to Nico Muller's car, he won't be coming back out. Sam Bird taking on Gunter, as you can see. Evans taking on Stoffel Van Dorn. There's some big matches going on there, Billy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be box office. For me, Evans and Van Dorn,
Yeah,
that's a real battle of Clash of Titans, I guess you could call that one. Yeah, really good battles there.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on Sam Bird against Gunter. Gunter, he's come out with some serious pace there, considering he's going to have the penalty. But Sam Bird must get a lot of confidence, from that performance.
Yeah, I think so. I think he showed this morning that he was pretty good, and yeah, I think it can be in for something. Against Gunter, I think it might be a little bit hard, because he's been really quick in the Group B, but you never know, and I think it'll make it a really exciting matchup.
One of the things that you two know is I am getting used to this sport, all the terminologies, all the things that are being said in the sport. Peloton racing. There's a lot being said about this race in particular here in Sao Paulo, that it's going to be a Peloton-style race. What is that, Billy, first and foremost?
Well, Peloton-style race it comes across from, bike racing, and you don't want to be pushing clean air. You don't want to be out front, because for Formula E cars in particular, it means that you're less efficient. You've got more drag, you've got that air to push the car through. If you're behind the car in front, that air's all been pushed out the way, the car's more efficient, you're using less battery in order to go the same speed down the straight. So that's what they mean when, they think pole position might not be the sort of place you want to stick for the whole race. You don't want to lead, because then everyone else behind you is tucked up behind, saving energy, and it puts them in a stronger position for later in the race to really, put their foot flat out and find some more performance.
But isn't clean air good for the car, rather than the dirty air that maybe you'd be getting if you were very, in that Peloton style, you're maybe getting not the drag, but you're very close to that other car, so you're getting dirty air?
Well, it is better to be at the front, but because of what Billy is saying, you're using more energy, so you want to be at the back. The thing that you're going to have to manage today is a little bit more the battery temperature if you're at the back. So I think we're going to see a lot of lead change, be people going in the front to cool down the car and come back. So it'll create a little bit of chaos, but yeah, and everyone is aware of that. That's the thing. So everyone will play the game until it gets crunch time.
Love it. Learning more every single day. Thank you very much. Right, let's head over now to our commentary team for the quarterfinals of Dario and Tom.
Yep, cheers JJ, much appreciated. Looking forward to getting this one underway then here for the first of the duels in the quarterfinals. Stoffel Van Dorn versus Mitch Evans. Van Dorn's only missed the duels once this year. That was back in Diriyah a couple of months ago in the first race of the weekend. Here is Mitch Evans making his way out onto the track. He's won his last 7 consecutive quarter-final duels, so he's in good shape. Wait for the green light to go at the end of pit lane, and then we'll get this session underway. They'll both go out at a determined period of time. And here is just a reminder of how it looks in the duels ladder then. So Evans and Van Dorn in the first quarter-final. Then it's Muller versus Verne, but Muller won't be competing, as we know, due to clipping the wall in group qualifying. Mortara versus Verline, and Sandberg versus Max Gunter. One driver from each of those will go through into the semi-finals, and then of course we'll have a head-to-head fight for pole position here later on as well. This one is going to be...
So first up then, head-to-head, Evans and Van Dorn. They're about 3 each. Predictor vote saying Evans will get ahead of Van Dorn, but they were close in the qualifying. They were also close in the practice sessions this morning. So it's anybody's guess. Adam, who do you think is going to get ahead into the duels? Sadly, now we know that already. We're going to have Verne through automatically.
I think in this duel we will see Jaguar Mitch Evans go to the semifinals.
So, of course, you have to wait 20 seconds to be released. Evans will go out first. He'll get some clean air. Then we'll have Van Dorn doing the same thing. And the lap times will be completed. After this, we'll go through. So, Evans, Van Dorn, Muller, Verne, Mortara, Verline, Bernard, and Gunther going out. And here comes Van Dorn now across the start line down towards turn number 1. I can't work out if it's exactly the same start line as we had for IndyCar and we just went right, we went left, not right, because it does look very similar through turns 1, 2 and 3, so maybe it is the same straight way. But I do miss IndyCar in Sao Paulo, I really do, so I'm glad we've got this one back.
Yeah, and Josh, I think a lot of, there's there's a couple of countries that don't have a Formula E race, and one, two of them are in the Pacific, and that's Australia.
Yeah.
And I think it's time Formula E goes down under, and since or either that or go to New Zealand, since they have a couple of Kiwis racing. I think it'd be kind of cool to spotlight those two drivers. You know what I mean?
We need a Australia Grand Prix, and we ideally, I don't know why Formula hasn't done it, we need a New Zealand Grand Prix desperately as well. That's the furthest we can go to race. We need to go to New Zealand. I've been saying it for years.
Why not?
Yeah, we're side by side now. I don't think there's any motorsport series bar supercars that does go to New Zealand. Nothing else does. So we need a world championship to go there. First sector time, Evans is ahead by 81 thousandths. Van Dorn's have it. It's Van Dorn slow through 1, 2, and 3. Has he actually got drive? There you go. Come on, Stoffel. Put your pedal down. Oh, and well, Evans has had a mucky first sector because Van Dorn is 3/10 up. 3/10, nearly 4/10 up already in the first duel. So Mitch Evans, who this morning had a broken front toe link on the right-hand side, is now losing time, hand over fist, to the DS Penske and the 2022 Formula E champion of Stoffel Van Dorn. Evans is going to start outside here, possibly as further back as row number 4 in either 8th position or 7th. Across the line we go. Right, Evans, 1:13.184. Van Dorn is coming into the last few corners. Is he faster or not? That's the big question. He turns in. The gap is around about a half a second now, 2/10 down already. Van Dorn boots it to the line and predictably goes faster to 1:13.021 across the line. Wow! Van Dorn goes through.
That's shocking, Josh. That is quite shocking. First loss for Mitch Evans over Stoffel Van Dorn. Okay.
And this was Van Dorn's returns 1 and 2. So Van Dorn already goes through into the next session. Van Dorn will progress to semi-final then. So at 350 kilowatts per hour, where Evans didn't get lapping this morning, remember? In practice, he lost out. So that losing FP2 really did become crucial. Nico Muller and Jean-Eric Verne, they've faced each other once before. Muller won, that was back in Berlin last year, but the predictor vote is saying 86% for Verne, 14% for Muller. So this will be interesting. But I can see why the predictor, actually, thinking about that, I can see why the predictor said, because Muller's not out there on the track, is he? Muller crashed at the end of the duels. He's broken the suspension, so he's out. So Verne's already through. So it doesn't really matter for that. So it'll be Van Dorn and Verne in the next session. Yeah, you get caught up in that to forget that. But yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, this is almost like a test lap.
Yeah.
Jean-Eric Verne in the DS Penske.
Still has to push, of course, because if we can't, for whatever reason, do the semi-finals or the finals, the times are decided on this. So he's still got to push. Is that car ahead?
Yes, he does. Yeah, I don't know what's cooking over there in Team Penske, Josh. They started the year by winning the Rolex 24 Daytona, and of course they won the Daytona. Of course, they had success, starting on pole for the Daytona 500. So I don't know what the Rocky Penske got cooking, but I guess something good. Last weekend, Desert Muga went basically dominated the season opener, the IndyCar series at St. Petersburg, and now the momentum switch just sort of Formula E and it's Apollo. I mean, I don't know, Josh. You think Team Penske's going to have another stellar year across all forms of motorsports?
Jay Penske is nodding along, of course, son of Roger Penske, so he's team principal over there at Penske Racing, DS Penske. So yeah, I think, understandably, we're going to see something very special this weekend. They seem to be up there somewhere, and they're all congratulating, celebrating with them as well. It was a good lap there, but now, yeah, I reckon we could see Penske doing well this weekend, certainly coming from Vern, being up there, Van Dorn up as well. He's already gone through, so both Penske's through, and both Penske's will face each other in semi-final 1. So already, that's clarified, a Penske will start in the front row of the grid, because it's how they're going to go through. So already it's front row start for them, so again the domination starts. Right, 84% say Verline, 16% say Mortara, and this is quarterfinal 3 as well, going out there on the circuit, and first out it's Mortara crossing the line, and Verline is just behind him in quarterfinal Duel C, or the third duel. Out across the line, then we come, bouncing like mad down to the first corner. Bird and Gunther going out next, so this will determine who goes out in semi-final number 2. Into turn 1, Mortara, a street expert, winner of Macau, winner in Hong Kong, winner in Marrakesh. Now we've delayed Mortara's lap time to be live with Verline. You can see that the first sector split, Verline was fast in the straights, but Mortara has a better exit pace, but Verline gets a better acceleration drive. I would say in the first sector, Mortara's ahead, but not by much. Let's take a look under the bridge. I think we've got Verline now ahead by the time they reach the braking spot. Yeah, so Mortara didn't get as much power down that straight as I was expecting. Verline jumps ahead by nearly 0.4 of a second, but we saw that with Van Dorn and Evans. Those that go out second get the better toe. As we come through, I think Verline's got this one comfortably.
Yes.
Checker flag's out, so we're going to have Mortara come across the line. He's done a 1:13.368. Verline's lap time is live from what we're watching, and at the moment he's 5.5 of a second up. So this is not great for Mortara. The car that stopped in practice this morning as well, not up to power as we were expecting. Verline goes top by 5.5 of a second. It's a 1:12.846, fastest time so far this session. So anyone that goes out second, Adam, seems to be getting the lap times here. Not counting Vern, but Van Dorn and Verline, second on track, they all went through. So far, it's a clean sweep for those who go out second. So is Gunther going to do the same here to Bird?
I'm thinking it's going to... Well, I think it's going to happen, Josh. And like we said earlier, Max Gunther here in dual qualifying is crazy. It's why it's it'd be quite interesting here for final number 4.
Gearing up for what's going to be an absolute cracker. So we've got Bird and Gunther. Not separated by much. Gunther's coming through the last corner now. Bird starts the lap time down towards turn 1 now. So Bird pushes and away in towards turn 1. It's a long straight here. Super duper long straight. Into the first corner. Turns in it nicely. Jumps over the curbs. Good lap times here from Bird already. Fighting with the wheel. Having to control the oversteer a lot though, as he hurtles down towards turns 4, 5 and 6 chicane. Gunther into turn 1. This is where the first mini sector is, to tell us. And Gunther's up by 1/10 at the moment in that first mini sector. It's going to be quite tight, I reckon, between the two, as we'll see. Bird's out first, Gunther's out second. Everyone who goes out second seems to be on the better run here. So maybe that's going to be Vern on par in the final then, compared to his Van Dorn. We'll have a look at that. Oh, it's already 2/10 out of him as well. Bird just can't get the traction. Those out first don't get the laps.
That's kind of a shock, Josh. I thought if you went first, you would have more of an advantage, or since you were on track earlier. That was seconds, but yeah, I thought going out first, you would have a bigger advantage, and hadn't turned out that way.
1:13.208 for Bird. Here comes Gunther into the last corner. And this is already 4 tenths ahead to Bird. What's the final time going to be? The flag falls. Gunther pushes it, and he will go through to the semi-finals. 1:12.881. So the man with the 40-place grid penalty goes through to the semi-finals. And if he does start on pole position, he'll get those 3 points, and then he's banished to the back of the grid. What an unbelievable turn of events. Gunther goes through, and it makes it everybody who went out second has got through, but Gunther versus Verlaine, I don't know how I feel about that, because Gunther's got a 40-place grid penalty. New gearbox and a inverter change. It's practically a new car. That's why he's got the penalty so severe. The duels will start in 8 minutes' time. Not long at all as well for the semi-finals. It'll be Van Dorn and Verne, Verlaine and Gunther, who will be battling each other. Winners of the semi-finals will go through to the final to decide the pole sitter for the Sao Paulo E-Prix, the 4th round of this ABB FIA Formula E World Championship in 2024. So we will regroup and see what's going to happen after this. I believe TNT are going to go for a break now, unless they're going to throw it down to Radzi. We'll take a quick look. But yeah, there's the Formula E predictor coming in as well. Looking to be exciting. I don't know, I think we might risk it. Put it down.
Will be even finer in this first semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, semi-final duels on the way next.
No, they're going for an ad break. I thought they might. That's always annoying when they do that. Yeah. Don't get told when they go in ad break. There's no ad break sting. It just cuts away straight away. So very annoying. Should be an ad break sting. So we're getting ready then for the next session. The timing screens change around. It's really alarming because they all go black for a really long time, and you think, oh no, it's your system's blown up, and then they all just load in again. So it really is alarming. But we're all getting set for the next session. Saying that, mine hasn't loaded back up, so I'm just going to do a refresh to see if that kicks it. No, they've just gone black. Okay, so at the moment we've got a black. We've got no timing screens. Brilliant at the moment. That's just fantastic. So Adam, what do you mean? Oh, they've come back to us now with the old settings. Okay, so they can't reset them for some reason. Coming in now, they've changed. Van Dorn and Verne to Penske. So who wins out between them, Adam?
Josh, that's a darn good question. Two DS Penske's. I know we said the driver going out second has done well. I think that continues. I think Jean-Eric Vergne gets round off of Van Dorn and gets into the finals.
40-place grid penalties as well could come through. Yep, I agree with you there. It's going to be a fascinating session when we come through. There's the Gunther knocks out Bird on the timing screens that you are seeing here. Free pass for Verne. You don't have to do anything coming through as well, which is kind of normal, unfortunately, because he had nothing else to do on that runaround. So the E-Prix coming up later is going to be strong. There'll be a 15-minute gap between the semi-finals and the final, as per normal. For some reason, they like us to make us wait.
Why?
So, I don't know. It's really, they could do with shortening down the system here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all I can say is if I was in charge of making the Formula E calendar for next year, I would find a way to go to Australia, New Zealand. I mean, this weekend, Josh, is the Adelaide Motorsports Festival in Adelaide, Australia. Yeah, they're using the street course down there that the Repco Australian Supercars uses and Formula One used to use. Why not go be a part of the Adelaide Motorsports Festival and,
Given the
Formula E?
Yeah.
I mean, next week, Formula One is in Albert Park. I mean, why not give, the Aussie fans, a double dose of motorsports action,
I'd love it. I think it needs to happen. Otherwise, we're going to be in a sorry state. Formula E needs to head to Australia. 5 minutes to go. Let's hand it down to the road feed.
The lineups worked out that way. They would have been hoping to obviously have one in each semi-final, give themselves the best chance of, potentially having a 1-2 on the grid. But they still know that in terms of coming into this weekend, the expectation was on potentially Jaguar is looking like they could be the front runners. So they know they're the team that have so far maximised things the most out of everyone.
Yeah, Stoffel Vandoorne then here in the garage. Of course, former champion. Or two former champions in that team as well, as a matter of fact. Vandoorne winning it back in Season 8 in 2022. Of course, Jean-Eric Vergne, the only driver who's won it in different generations of cars. Back-to-back titles for him in Gen 1 and in the first year of Gen 2. You can see there, Vandoorne, only 14 points in the championship so far after 3 rounds this season. And he'll be hoping to build on that tally here this afternoon. And also possibly adding to that here in qualifying as well.
Exactly right, 3 points. Even for Max Günther, 3 points, even though he gets moved back to somewhere around about Rio de Janeiro starting the race. Yeah, he's got the points are ever so important.
Yeah, Max Günther there just in the garage. Maserati having a great time out there in terms of their pace, but it is going to be a proper struggle in the race, I would imagine.
Remember this time last year? Every time you saw a Maserati, the car was either stopping or crashing into
every
something.
time you saw James Rosser had his head in his hands.
Exactly right. Such a difficult start. So it's good to see that team having a much better start to the season. And you still got Max Günther with his eyes closed there again, just visualising that lap, what he's got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Here then is Pascal Wehrlein, second in the championship coming into this weekend.
Yeah, he's having that terrible season you mentioned, Tom.
I still think it's going to be a big weekend for him. I'm not saying it's been a bad season for him. I just think that he needs to have a strong one to try and consolidate that position.
The level of Nick Cassidy's consistency, should I say, is quite impressive. Yeah, I'm with you. He can't let him get too far ahead or it's over.
You might have jinxed it, Tom, He's missed out on the duels for the first time in how many races after you basically said he won the championship?
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. Semi-finals then. Vergne and Vandoorne going head-to-head against one another. Günther versus Wehrlein in this one. So 2 drivers will make it through in the fight for pole position. Will it be DS Penske of Vandoorne, or will it be Vergne? That is going to be exciting to see how it works out. Or will we see the likes of Günther making it through? Even though he will technically take those 3 points, he won't be able to start the race on pole position because of the 40-place grid penalty that he is going to be dealing with coming into this one. All while they're sitting there in the pit lane, all the temperatures are going to be rising, not only in terms of the car, but the driver as well. It's incredibly hot in one of these single-seater cockpits.
I was speaking to Eduardo Mortara yesterday, and he was saying that, when you're driving, you're getting that, air coming through, into the cockpit, and it's not too bad. And when you stop, that's where it feels like a sauna all of a sudden.
So Vandoorne exits onto the track then for the semi-finals. Of course, only one flying lap in the duels. If you are new to Formula E, welcome along. It is great to have your company. We hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. Here in the duels then, it is head-to-head, 2 drivers, 1 flying lap, and winner takes all stakes to see who will progress forwards from the semis into the finals. Jean-Eric Vergne making his way out onto the track. You can see the heat haze here, just how absolutely baking hot it is.
Look at the rubber as well in the braking zone, which means this afternoon, if you're offline and not on that rubber, it's a lot slippier. So overtaking is not going to be. I think there'll be a lot of it, but it's not going to be easy and it'll be quite high risk.
So making their way through then, as they build up temperature into the tyres and the brakes.
Yeah, 1 lap shootout only, of course. It's the 2 Penske's together. Günther and Wehrlein going to go out next as well. This is going to get... I don't want to say it, Adam, but it's going to get very scary because the last thing you want is 2 teammates hating each other. And when they face each other in duels, especially these 2, Vandoorne and Vergne, who've come to blows several thousand times before they win the main team, it's a bit like putting fire against, I don't know, petrol.
Yes.
Right, away we go. Who's up first? So it's going to be Vandoorne and then Vergne just behind. So I'm expecting Vergne to sweep this one, but you've got Vandoorne on the books, so we'll see what happens into turn 1. Light to the brakes. Vandoorne turns it in nicely, and there's Vergne just behind. So Are we going to go side by side, picture here? Is that why they've only shot? Yeah, they are. I thought so. So Vern versus Van Dorn. Already, I think Vern's ahead into the break point. I don't know why they do this. It doesn't work. He's ahead as well into turn 1. What's happening here? Hang on a minute. Vern's had a slow exit. Look at that. He's sliding. Vern's sliding. He's lost out big time. And Vern, making a mistake at turn 3, puts Van Dorn 3/10 ahead. Wow. So, and he's cautious. Vern's not wanting this, is he? He doesn't want pole. He remembers what happened last time out. And he's slow. Look at him. He's so slow, Adam.
That's dark. We said going into those, you know, the driver, you know, could bring that second, have an advantage. Not here.
Unbelievable. So he's now 6/10 back on the board. So Van Dorn, who is at 11th in the championship, Vern's 3rd. If this is something in the championship to get Van Dorn those 3 points, we'll find out. Van Dorn, 112.566. Vern, 113.2. He's 7/10 down. Now that looked very planned to me. And Van Dorn goes through into the final, but I don't think at all that that was anything but planned.
No, I don't think that's planned. No, that's the course here, Josh. That's kind of an upset. You know what I mean?
Through across the curve. This is turns 4, 5, and 6.
Good job, Steph. Good job. You're through. Good work.
So that could be 3 points for Van Dorn in the championship, because if Gunther gets this next one, it's done. Well. Who's going to have this one? Is it Verline or Gunther? The two Germans will face each other to decide the running order. Will Verline get a chance to put it in P1? Or are we going to see Gunther try and take it to the final and then only serve an 18-second time penalty in the race? That's why he's in qualifying. Maybe annoying to all of us, but that's the game. As Gunther's down to turn 1 now, and Verline's right behind him, starts a lap time. So now the battle is on between the two. I think Verline's already faster. Gunther at the moment might have to serve something like a 20-second stop-go penalty in the race, which is practically a career killer unless there's a safety car.
That's true.
He's already up at him by a 10.5 is Verline through the first corner. We'll wait for the first sector split. Don't think it's that much, actually. 23 seconds. Gunther was a 23.1. Verline is a 23.02. There's 38 thousandths of a second between them. Wow, this is going to be, finally, a close duel. But it's not really meaning anything, because Gunther turns in. One more with Verline. Where is he? Exit of 7 and 8. Oh, and Gunther nearly hitting the wall and scraping off some of the advertising hoarding. Verline's in top part of the track now through 7 and 8. Right, first delta time. Verline's a 10th up now. Gunther does a 1:13.041 across the line. All eyes go to Pascal Verline. Can he stop Gunther from going through to the duels and actually making sure that the final will be a proper final for pole position? Is it sham or is it glory? Across the line, Verline does a 1:12.764. 2.5 tenths faster. We will get a final in Sao Paulo. And Gunther, at best, has to serve a 20-second penalty in the race. Verline and Van Dorn progress to the final. Yes, it's going to mean something, Adam.
And if Pascal Verline gets pole, that's 3 points he takes away from Nick Cassidy in the championship. So, you know what Pascal Verline wants to do, Josh.
Yeah, he needs pole because he needs to get it up. Van Dorn is on 14 points, Verline's on 38, and it's such a wide championship already. Here's Verline's radio.
See him siding his way through.
Yes,
team radio as well.
That's true. That was 2 tenths quicker, 2.5.
Contrary to belief here, the final is actually going to start in about 5 minutes' time. They are not going to hold it back for 10 due to that delay we had earlier. So we will start on time, I believe, for the final. So it shouldn't be too late of a run as Jean-Luc Verne goes in to get weighed on the FIA bridge in the scrutineering area. and then he should be able to speak to the media as well. So, it's Van Dorn and Verline who will go into it. Gunther's going to start at the back anyway, but with a bigger penalty. 5 minutes to go until we go green. Let's hand over to the world feed.
Like that sort of challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just over 5 minutes to go then as we get ready to go for the finals here in Sao Paulo.
This programme is...
I knew they were going for that. I knew it. I just knew it. They're never going to let us have a moment rest of commentating.
Nope.
Okay,
No.
so what do you think, Adam? What do you think is going to happen? Who is going to take pole position, Van Dorn or Verline?
I'm going to say Pascal Verline gets the pole and gets those 3 championship points and closes the gap to Nick Cassidy just a wee little bit going into the race later today.
It's going to be a very exciting run as well. Ed Hunter's going to be with us in the commentary box for the race later as well. Just busy this morning, I understand. And Adam's going to be with us in the box, and I think Josh T's somewhere around. And then tomorrow,
cool.
NASCAR duties. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Yes. On St. Patrick's Day. So so everyone, don't forget to wear your green. Otherwise, it's called. Obviously, I can't virtually pinch you, Josh. Since you will be wearing green. So yeah, but I would never pinch you, Josh. You know that.
That's right. We've got the green. We've got the green today, green tomorrow. All looking good.
Yeah, that's and don't forget the corned beef and cabbage.
I don't think we've got any corned beef, but I think I'm making a shepherd's pie before we come.
Ooh, shepherd's pie. Ooh, okay, I'll take it. Okay.
Although is it shepherd's if it's not really shepherd's. I don't know. It's cottage, isn't it? But we just call it a shepherd's pie. But anyway, I'm making that for tomorrow. This evening, I'm making a chicken korma curry.
Ooh, nice.
Me and Megan will have that. I'll try and thicken it up a bit as well because it's been a bit watery the last couple of times. So I'll just add a bit more in. Great way, a little bit of cream. Just a little bit of cream.
Nice. Just think after the race, Josh, you can have the rest of the day to have dinner and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, and tomorrow it'll be all 7:30 start in the evening. Nice Sunday to relax. It's very rare that happens, and it's going to be quite interesting. But we're 2 minutes until the start of the final. I don't think we're going to actually have a break, thanks to TNT always going for ad breaks these days. So yeah. Oh, we might get like a 2-minute break, Adam. That's going to be something. Hey, before they head out onto the track for the final, it will be Van Dorn and Verline. Let's hand it back over. I believe straight away to Tom Brooks. I don't think JJ's got it, but we'll see.
So then, it all comes down to this. 2 drivers going against one another in the fight for pole position. 1 lap is going to decide who will emerge on top and start at the head of the field for the 4th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. It'll be a Penske and Porsche front row for the 2nd year running here in Sao Paulo as well. Whatever happens, but which of those 2 is going to be the king?
They're blowing the fan into the vent on top of the helmet to try and cool Pascal down.
Cool the cranium down a little bit. So exiting out of the pit lane then is Pascal Verline. Van Dorn will shortly follow suit. What's going through your mind in a psychological perspective at this point, Dario?
Each driver's a little different. At this point, I was trying to remain calm, deep breaths, and really I've played the lap in my head and just as calm as I could possibly be, and then just getting ready. And it was almost like a mind trigger, and with more experience I was able to then try and maximise. That was the idea anyway, and sometimes it worked, of course sometimes it didn't.
Well, whatever happens here, Van Dorn, this is going to be the best qualifying session of the season for him. He hasn't started on the front row so far in 2024. But will he be able to get the better of Pascal Verline, who's already had a pole position so far this year? If you remember back to Mexico City, you can see there in the head-to-heads between those 3 drivers. But it is completely 50-50 on the predictor as well.
Oh.
If you had a fiver on that, you'd be well. Walking all the way to the bookies potentially.
Got to say the DS Penske team as a whole, though, their performance has improved. I feel certainly into this weekend. So yeah, that 3-0 might be kind of an outlier, an odd stat, shall we say.
Well, let's see what happens then as we wait for the drivers to come out onto the track. The green light is on as Wehrlein exits onto the circuit. Now it's all about getting crucial temperature into the tyres and the brakes, getting into that right operating window.
Yeah, this outlap is just a really important opportunity. Like you can see the weaving going on there from Pascal Wehrlein, just trying to generate that tyre temperature. He'll be using, you know, making sure the brakes and everything is in the right window, because when you get down to turn 1, it's a big braking zone from the start of the lap. If the brakes aren't in the right window, you're throwing time away so early on in the lap, and a short lap like this, you'd be struggling to get that back.
So Van Dorn making his way through turns 1, turn 2 and turn 3. 350 kilowatts of power, just to remind you, in the duels, 50 more than we would have under normal racing conditions, or indeed in the group stages of qualifying. And of course, all the drivers that, the 2 drivers that are in this session of Van Dorn and Wehrlein have already had a couple of runs with this full power, so they know where the braking zones are.
Yeah, they had 350 kilowatts, of course. This is what we were talking about. Evans didn't have that this morning in practice too, and it cost him big. And he's now starting 7th, I think, on the grid, coming up when we get the penalty for Gunther coming up. So it's all going to shift around on the final starting grid. We'll stay on air because you'll see it coming, but here we go. Wehrlein will be first, Van Dorn will be second. Let's go for the final. And this is where the tension really builds, Adam, isn't it? Because one mistake here, it only costs you pole position, but it's 3 points they're fighting over. So there is a bit more on the line.
Yes. Yeah, that's right, Josh. I said I thought there's going to be Pascal Wehrlein taking the pole, so, well, hopefully I'm right.
7 thousandths at the moment. First braking zone puts them at only 53 thousandths of a difference. DS Penske will be starting in the front row either way. What's the first delta time? Wehrlein was a 23.066. Across it we come now. Van Dorn is a 23.133, separated by 67 thousandths of a second. Wehrlein, second delta, is a 28.054. They are now 5 thousandths between them at the moment, as we see Van Dorn through sector 2, and there's only 10 thousandths between them now. 27.997 for sector 2 for Van Dorn. It's going to be really tight for pole position. Pascal Wehrlein across the line does a 1:12.789, but right behind him comes Stoffel Van Dorn. Is it going to be quicker? There's 40 thousandths between them now. Literally nothing. This could be one of the closest poles in Formula E history as he comes out the last corner. Van Dorn boots it hard. Who's on pole position? Across the line, Van Dorn no! Wehrlein! 2 thousandths of a second! 2 thousandths of a second! One of the closest poles in Formula E history. Wehrlein takes it on a 1:12.789. Van Dorn a 1:12.791. 2 thousandths between them, and one of the closest poles we've ever seen. Unbelievable.
Gosh, those 3 championship points that Pascal Wehrlein got could be crucial as we get as it gets closer to the championship finale in London. You know what I mean?
Fantastically so, yeah. 3 points here where we see Cassidy starting outside the top positions. He was 5th in Group A. That puts him on the 5th row of the grid in either 9th or 10th. Let's hear from Wehrlein.
For Wehrlein then here.
Mate, you're on pole for 2 thousandths of a second. 2 thousandths of a second. Really good job, mate. Wow, my heart is stopping now.
I think we all are. What a time, Adam. 2 thousandths of a second. I can't believe it. Look at this, Jay Penske's reaction. He's looking all around.
Yeah, it's...
Can't believe it.
You know, Josh, we did say it's going to be a Peloton style of a race, you know, later on today. So, maybe the pole position will be good for Pascal Wehrlein, or it could hurt him. And nobody doesn't want to lead, so yeah, we're for a crack of a race later on this afternoon.
We've got the full starting grid that's just come up. It's Wehrlein who will take pole position. Van Dorn is second. Verne is third. Evans fourth. Bird is fifth. Mortara sixth. Muller seventh. Da Costa eighth. Cassidy ninth. Dennis in 10th. Rowland 11th. Hughes 12th. De Vries 13th, Fenestras 14th, Degrassi 15th, Deruvela is 16th, Freins 17th, Boemi 18th, Setakamara 19th, Tinctum 20th, Nato 21st, and predictably Gunther down in 22nd position, having to serve, I think, about 21 seconds worth of a penalty. Wow. Bring it on. Bring it on. This race is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll tune in later on for the commentary of the São Paulo P3.
Oh, yeah.
In a little while, it's going to be, folks, you want a cracker or a Formula E race? Stick around.
Oh, hang on. When did your pictures freeze?
Yes, my pictures. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, that's the closest pole since Season 3, Race 1 in Berlin. Yeah, of 0.02 of a second. So that's all the way back in Season 3, Race 1. There's Van Dorn to get away bridge. And we'll hear from our pole sitters. Let's hand it over to the world feed after that incredible session.
Or anything along the lines of that. And again, just making sure it all complies with the regulations in terms of the ride height, etc. as well. All looking okay there for Stoffel Van Dorn. And his first front row start of the 2024 season, I think he'll be pretty happy with that, you know, given the season he had last year. DS Penske seem to really have found their form there now as well, as he now exits from the car. And we'll be hearing actually as well from the pole position man of Pascal Wehrlein a little bit later on also, and of course presenting him with the Julius Baer pole position award. So there it is, 2 poles of the 2024 season there for Pascal Wehrlein. He just celebrates with his team down in pit lane here. The sunshine is out, certainly shone. The German driver, cool vest going on, no surprise at all, trying to keep the core body temperature down. It is absolutely sweltering on the ground here. Air temperature up to about 33, 34 degrees there now, as we watch Van Dorn just getting weighed with all of his gear on. There'll be a slight tinge of disappointment for him following that one. Dare say probably not. See just how busy it is here in Sao Paulo, just the traffic there on the right-hand side of your picture. Let's head down to Radzi, who's going to catch up with the man who's on pole position for round 4 in Sao Paulo, Pascal Wehrlein.
Pascal Wehrlein, what a performance that was. 2/1000ths of a second separated you guys in that final. We loved watching it. How was it for you?
First of all, super hot out there, so you're sweating like hell. I mean, you know, while driving it's okay, but then once you're in the garage, just the car is super hot and in the suit and everything. So yeah, tough conditions for everyone, also, you know, for the whole team. But I think, yeah, we can be super pleased with that. So both practice sessions we finished in the top 5. I think we did another small step for qualifying, and yeah, this was just a nice, easy weekend to progress and to build on. And yeah, second pole position of the year, so very happy about that.
You touched on it there, second pole of the year, and to present the pole sitter trophy from Julius Baer, we have Carlos Ruggiero Morales, the region head Americas and Iberia, and member of executive board Julius Baer.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, the pole position award then going to Pascal Wehrlein, a second of the season here so far. Absolutely delighted with that. Clean side of the grid and a clear view down towards the First corner ahead of the 31-lap race here this afternoon. Pascal Wehrlein then taking pole position here in Sao Paulo. Very much looking forward to getting under racing conditions here on the streets of Sao Paulo.
Yeah, nice job to the team there as well. And that's where we're going to call it in this session, just as soon as I find out which button to press for the angle. There we are, it's that one. So then, Adam, thanks for joining for qualifying. What's your prediction going into the race later? Because so far, it looks to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait for it later.
Well, Josh, for pick a winner, I actually went with Nick Cassidy, the points leader, who was starting in 9th position today. We've mentioned time and time again, it's going to be a Peloton style race that everybody wants to lead well. I think Nick Cassidy finds a way to get the job done in Sao Paulo.
Thanks to you, Adam. And we'll have Ed to join us both in the box later for the E-Prem. And thanks to all of you at home. We'll be back then. Just a reminder, in about 2 hours' time, you can join the Grid Network pre-race show. Just before the lights go out here, we'll be on it. I'll be on for that as well. Then I'll hop over to the mainstream here to start. That's at 1:30 the hour, so you can watch the pre-show and then our pre-show with the grid walk and everything, and then we'll be underway for the race. And it's a nice calm weekend, which means we're full-on action team as well. Thanks, Adam. We'll see you later. Thanks to you at home. Well, pole position for Wehrlein and Gunther at the back, but it's Cassidy, the championship leader, who starts from 9th on the grid. He's going to have a lot of work to do. A Peloton-style race ahead of us. This is going to be one for the ages. It's going to be a very dramatic Sao Paulo Pre. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.